Let me mention that there was a mistake made last week. If you look, this is the little segment that I cut off. You see this 196 value? I commented that this is an anomaly. This is not supposed to be here. Well, when we look over here, we see why. The data that I was sent, I mean, it's my fault. I'm not blaming anybody, but the data that I was sent actually grabbed from last year, from 2013 to 2014. So it is a December to January transition, but it's the wrong year. So that 196, we're not seeing these low values at outside orbit position. I mean, so far away from outside orbit position. Last week, the low value was 176 for the following week. You can see it up here. This 196 here went down to 176. But these two 100 values, they only appeared outside orbit position. You see them right here. The outside orbit position, whenever the Earth makes the right triangle to the black star, you see these two values below 200? That's what you were supposed to see. They're inverted. This inversion represents the symmetry in my chart that I've been looking for. So I looked at it last week and I go, wait a minute, there's something this is going to be an anomaly, and it turned out to be. So this week I got the correct values, and what it shows is for last week I did see the bounce that I predicted for this week. See, I saw this big drop from 250 to 250 set to 227. I look at the date and I go, holy cow, I'm going to reach outside orbit position the first week in February. This value is much too low. In other words, I'm going to see a bounce before I start going down again till I finally reach a value that's going to be in the 180s. And there's going to be two of these 100, below 100, below 200 values together. Right? Now, these year by year, this low value at outside orbit position, you see it was 176 in 2011 orbit cycle, the value was 146. So every year these values get a little higher. We're going up 20 higher, right? So maybe it's going to be around 180. It's going to be in the 180s, I think, and it's going to be the week of February the 1st, I think. But we had to have this bounce, but then we see what I expected. And Hijacker, well, by the way, I'm just mentioning in passing, I heard that Hijacker heard from the people at Revolution Radio that he's quit again. And I heard that Earthplay is going to be hosting the Thursday show for Liberation Nation, which I usually do. I didn't get an email from Deacon. I just got one from Vaubert, but they couldn't get a hold of me because my Skype was messed up. It's connected to the Hotmail account that was blocked. So I couldn't even turn the thing on. Now, just today, I realized, what if I uninstall the program? It's going to break the connection with Hotmail when I reinstall. And sure enough, it works. So now my Skype's working, so those of you that were using my old Skype name and stuff, you can now contact me and write me messages on my old Skype. So anyway, what I'm seeing across the board is, see how all these arrows are pointing down? We went from 2 of the 6 magnitude quakes down to 1, went from 29, and went from 30 to 29 to 26. That's because we're in the lull period. Now we're seeing, although we do have a bounce here, that's what we should expect to see. We always see the bounce, especially whenever the Earth cooling. Whenever we're cooling down, then yes, it's going to go down, down, down. But then there's a week there where things bounce up, and then they go down, 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 down again. Usually it's only one bounce. And that happens. So now we're at 239. I'm expecting to go to 180. We're still in the first week of January for these readings, you see, and I've got 3 more weeks of the lull, and I'm going down into the 180s. So we should see this next week should be around 220, maybe even down to the 210s. If we get down to the 210s, we'll see another bounce. If it's gradual, then we'll see a steady decline down to our about 180, 185, something like that at outside orbit position. Then we're going to see, like we saw last year, see the giant jump, 536. That's what we should expect to see, but move this 21 days later. Where do we get the 21 days from? I explain in this update. The key for determining this outside orbit position, we watch these 2.5 to 4 magnitude earthquakes. We watched and remember, this is predicted far ahead of time. What we do is we go to our backside alignment date. You see this week right here? Last year that was 10/25. Now we're going to 11/15, and that's 21 days. In the 2011 orbit cycle, that would have been just 11 days. We've got a 21 days because the black star is moving farther left with greater velocity in the orbit diagram, almost twice as fast as it was in 2011, telling me the black star is getting nearer and nearer to perihelion. That's what it's telling me. Okay, so now we add 21 days to our first week of January, right here. So in between these two dates is where outside orbit position was, January 5th to January the 11th. So this time it's going to be between January about the 26th, 27th, around February the 3rd, because we have to add a day or two because of the 3 months that went by. So we have increased velocity, you have to add the 3 days or something like that. So right around the first, about the time when we are coming between the Sun and Jupiter. This is where we are in the solar system. You see Libra, black star, I believe, is in about this location right here. It's somewhere right in here. And if you notice, we're seeing activity off the western limb of the Sun as the Earth comes around in orbit. Well, holy cow. Let's get back on the right date here. I must have had this open. Let's go back to the actual time. See, the Earth is actually on this side. Okay, so we're getting ready to make the right angle with the black star. Looking down, black star is about in this area. So we're getting ready to make the right angle to the black star, and it's about the time that we're going to pass between. See, Mercury passes through there too, but not quite. See the moon? Look at the moon and Jupiter. I mean, if the Earth was moved ahead 1 more degree, then we would have the moon is pulling with Jupiter with the Sun. It's just not quite perfect, but it's pretty darn close, right? So we're going to see 6 magnitude earthquakes on the uptick for this period coming up, February the 4th, something like that. At the same time that usually when the Earth is about here, I'm seeing a 7 and then another 7 right in this area. Not because of Jupiter, obviously, but because we're making the right triangle with the black star. The caterpillar crawl around the planet decreases to its minimum at this area when it bounces and kicks off again. That's why we had that high 500 value, because the black star Earth magnetic portal connection is hovering at the same length through this period now. 2011 and 2012, our race to outside orbit position meant that we were outpacing black star inbound velocity. That means that the earthquake values are going down to the low with the new volcanic eruptions. Now the new volcanic eruptions, that value for this week, by the way, is 5. Last week, what was it, 6 or 7? The week before that, 6 and 7. We're seeing the high values, even during the lull period, because our move to outside orbit position is no longer outpacing black star inbound velocity. That's what it's boiling down to. So after we come around in orbit and start moving this way, we'll be moving towards the black star that's here. That means the magnetic portal connection between the black star and the Earth will be shortening by 50 to 60,000 miles per hour. That's why you see the big jump, and that's why you see the big uptick. When we get around to this area, look at May the 20th. See, look at Saturn. Black star, Saturn, Earth. Who is this? Mars on the backside. Planetary alignment, not only with the Sun, planetary alignments, and they're not perfect, but they're pretty darn close. But with the black star in this neighborhood, and we have Jupiter at the 90-degree angle in Leo. So, well, close to the 90-degree angle. Jupiter is coming around. Jupiter's been a poor witness in this case because it's been on the backside of the solar system relative to the black star. Now it's starting to come around, starting to become a player. That means the magnetic portal connection between Jupiter and the black star is wanting to shorten too. Problem is, for that scenario, is that the black star with increasing velocity towards the Sun is going to outpace Jupiter's move because it's slower. It moves much slower than Earth does around the Sun. So that's kind of where we are in the solar system. We're actually back around here in this area. Or just about in this area right here. And nearing outside orbit position, the right triangle with the black star. That's where we're at right now. If we want to look at the earthquake 3D, and you want to pay attention I'm highlighting a couple of stories here. Well, I can do that in a second. Okay, you're seeing the 2 primary quake swarm areas right here in the United States, and attention is shifting away from the Asian side of the equation. Seeing lots of high magnitude earthquakes on this area. This has been highly active on previous orbit cycles. Solomon Island quake event from February 2013 changed the dynamic over here. We had the giant quake swarm off coast of Kamchatka right here. Now that's diminished. The pressures now are building up in this area. You see this dead zone here. But that dead zone, these lines are becoming closer and closer together with these events as the quake swarms are becoming higher and higher, you see. But we should expect these are going to be lower now, and they are. They're lower now than they were, but they're going to get taller, like this stack over here from the fracking that's going on. That's not just from fracking. Let's get that part right. This is not just from fracking. It's because the American crate down here. See how quiet it is over here? This is gigantic stationary. Bam! This is big landmass, singular landmass right through here. That's how it's been characterized. In reality, the line that goes through New Madrid here, this represents the edges of Pangaea. This is the shorelines of the old Pangaean singular continental mass that traveled all the way around the planet and then pushed against each other. They are pushed against each other very tightly, like two fists right now. Whenever this area does kick off, and the earthquakes are increasing in the United States right now. New Madrid goes, then you have another fault system over on this side of the Appalachian Mountain Ridge. The United States is just broken into two parts. Happens later in the timeline. It's not even visible what's going to happen, but if you look at Edgar Casey's map of the future, my safe zone map, and the Navy map of the future, you'll see what I'm talking about. There's a giant inland gulf here. New Madrid pops open, and there's a whole bunch of shaking and quaking going on in the future. So that's where we are with this update. And running a little bit low on time. This is Binary Research Center. William sent me this. Just wrote this morning to Walter. Here's the information that I sent him, and I copied and pasted some of the information, if you guys are following the research, what I sent from Volume 1 and Volume 2 to Andy Lloyd. Real smart guy. And rather than write the same 10 points again, then I sent them, I copied and pasted them over here for Walter. Gave him this introduction, and then began, I gave him the links to the previous emails with my comments and Andy's comments back and forth. And then I want this guy to see if he can think outside the box, if he can relate the Earth changes, the changes in the solar system, shrinking heliosphere, weakening magnetosphere, migrating magnetic North Pole, and the frequency, the patterns that are taking place in there. If he can also see it like I can see it, and like hopefully many of you can see it, then maybe I can begin getting somewhere with somebody that knows what, is watching this, and they can recognize the warning signs. The Solar System Scope, Bonnie sent in most of the articles for this newsletter. Remember, I'm transitioning from Hotmail over. This is like the smallest newsletter that I've had in a long time. Many of the articles are locked inside of the Hotmail email account that I cannot access. It's really frustrating. I'm done with Hotmail, and although it's partially my fault, I understand. I should have kept up with the security, keeping that updated, but I had the same account for 11 years and never saw this problem. I updated my newsletter subscribers. I sent out a couple of hundred, maybe a little more than that, notification emails last year, January 11th and 12th. Never saw anything like this. So I figured I could do the same thing again. Same activity I've done for this thing for years now. And Hotmail locks my account, and they're asking me questions that I answered more than a decade ago. Who's my favorite historical figure? Was it the Apostle Paul or was it Abraham Lincoln? They're both my favorite. Which did I write down? I don't remember. Wish I could. But anyway. I also want to make a note that Earthplay is why I'm not quite sure. But Earthplay is going to be hosting Deacon John's show today. And I know that he deleted me from his contact list. I don't know if I'm going to be able to give an update report today. But Vaubert just gave me the notice, and they couldn't contact me through my old Skype because it was connected to Hotmail. Now I'm resolving these issues gradually. It's just amazing how much we depend on this technology, and how when we connect things that break, how everything gets broken. So please be patient with me through this period. I am pulling my hair out and starting to get under the weather. You notice I'm not quite talking properly, but I'm kind of stopped up. Feels like I'm running myself down. So anyway, Black Star Update Report. Number 3 for the orbit cycle, and I will see you guys next time. And Michael has sent in a good question, and I'm getting ready to go to answer it, and I'm going, man, this could take a while in trying to lay things out two-dimensionally, and he's asking for three-dimensional stuff. So I'm going to make this video. Okay, this is what he writes. Please show precisely where the black star can be on May the 20th, 2015. Perhaps to be my, oh, that just happens to be your birthday. With respects to Earth's orbit. The Earth will be between the sun and the black star. No. Or yes. This is kind of complicated. So let me try. Let's see where we want to begin here. This, I think you do not want. Just wait a minute. First, let's go back here to what I was showing Bonnie. This is from volume number 1. So I have demonstrated this just recently. This is the wide horseshoe orbit created by the black star. You notice the Earth position May 20th, that was pointed out right here. 2 places where this thing crosses Earth orbit path, like any object that, like a Kuiper belt object, comet that's coming out of orbit, like Elenin did. It crossed Earth orbit path, reached perihelion. That was 9/11/2011. And then it crossed Earth orbit path on the way out. That's just the way that it works. Okay, so this is what you're looking at, looking down on the solar system. But I don't know if that's where it's going to be. Nobody can really give you that answer because of the conflict in the modeling. Let's go look at the seismic chart again. Remember, see that N right there? Near side alignment event. For 2010, that was February 27th, Chile. For 2012, that was, I'm sorry, 2010, Chile, 2011, Fukushima, March 11, 2011, Guerrero, 2012, March the 20th. Well, now we're into the middle of May. See the 7 magnitude earthquakes? We had 6 in a 19-day period. 17 of these 6 magnitude earthquakes. There are so many large magnitude earthquakes in here. I don't know which one is the near side alignment, so I split the difference. Okay, it could have been one of these 7s a week later. See my problem right here? Well, taking the average has placed me 2 weeks too early. There's no reason for this to happen so early in April. It should have happened in the beginning of May, according to the alignments from 2012, 2013, now 2014. Even with the 188-day cycle, we should be beyond this. Why is this so early? I still don't know. But let's go to the backside alignment event. Last year, this was October 25th, 2013, 7.3 Japan. Now we've got the backside alignment event at 11:15. That's where the Indonesian quake took place. Now let's go back around here and let's move the Earth around. Let's go backwards in time to November the 15th. You see that? November the 15th. Now let's draw a line between the sun and the Earth, and you see we're just off of Saturn, but the black star, I believe, is in between this area. Okay, but that's what the backside alignment events tell us. Let's go look at the near side alignment events. See, this says that the black star is already on the left side of Libra. Okay, so let's move this cursor around to, the middle part of April. Right about here. You see my problem? See where the sun and the Earth are? This shows the black star is still backed up into Virgo. Why is the disparity? I don't know why there's such a disparity here. That's a lot. And it's a year's difference. Whenever I run this in the future and forecast, here's the problem. We've tracked the black star through Leo. This is where it was. See, if you take the Earth and move it around, you come back to here. You see February 27th? This is where the black star was in 2010. Move it forward to 2011, Fukushima. You see where the black star is between the sun and the left side of Leo. Then the next year with Guerrero, move it around to the 20th. See, we're tracking the black star going left. Okay, so, however, here's the deal. When it's reaching perihelion, it's going to go faster, 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 faster. We are tracking an orbit path going back, placing the black star on this side of Cancer. actually. Here comes the arc curve of the black star coming in. Now where is it going to cross? Earth orbit path. This is Earth orbit path right here. That has been determined by the seismic anomaly 2013. We had 341 of the 2.5 to 4 magnitude earthquakes. That's 100, and that's higher than any other weekly value by far, because that's when the Earth was in the headlights of the black star. May the 20th, right there. This is the 1.6 million mile section of Earth orbit where the black star crosses Earth orbit path like this, and then it goes back out and leaves again. Okay, now thing is, the backside alignments say that Earth and the black star are going to be at this same point. The backside alignments say in 2015 in May. The near side alignments say that Earth and the black star are in this same position in May of 2016. So nobody can tell you. I don't know of anybody that can tell you where the black star is going to be on this curve. I don't know that for a fact. What I can do is make projections about outside orbit position when we're at the 90-degree angle this side and we're at the 90-degree angle this side based upon the seismic data. When I take that and I draw a line straight through both of those, then I can make a 90-degree perpendicular line, and it's going to point out into Libra. So it's telling me the backside alignments are right. Also, let's go back over to, let's go back here. Okay, here's the migrating North Pole. Now the migrating North Pole at the bottom here, when it's furthest away from Siberia and it's making this loop, May the 20th is at the bottom. See that May 21st? May 20th, that's our crossing date. This is very important to our investigation too. Look at this top date up here. When you get to May, you're going to get to the very top on November the 16th, one day after our backside alignment date. This is pointing toward the fact that the backside alignments are correct. This date over here points to the fact that our crossing date is correct. This places the black star on this side. This means that the black star is causing this magnetic North Pole to move towards Siberia until we cross behind the sun relative to the black star. Then we start moving to outside orbit position. Then the magnetic North Pole begins. See how it's making a wider trek this time than last time? This path is way wider than the previous one. We have a series of loops that are being created. Okay, and the top and the bottom dates are the ones that I'm paying most attention, very close attention to, because this is going to prove one of my seismic models to be right. And unfortunately, what it's pointing towards is the backside alignment event. Okay, so then I go back to my seismic chart, and that is from this, and it's telling me that the backside alignment is the one that's right, not this near side alignment. Okay, so then I head back out here, and the backside alignment events being right means I come back to November the 15th. And it says that the black star is already in Libra. And when it gets to the left side of Libra, to this section right here, then it's going to be here. So here's my problem. This is the threat that's in your face. This is the threat for 2015 May that I have to warn you about. If this one's true, 2016 doesn't matter. Okay? So my wargaming for this orbit cycle is going to be in May of 2015. Meet with my survival group, and we're going to wargame as if this is right. If it's right, we're in the right position. We're all good to go. If it's not, then this is our wargame exercise for 2015. The data is going to tell us that the near side alignment events are right, rather than the backside alignment event. Okay? We're going to have a lot more data between now and then to be able to tell. But leading up to this, I need to be in the right position with my survival buddies in my safe zone. This is the only way that you can prepare for the worst case scenario and hope for the best at the same time. If we're just going to say, well, the backside, the near side alignment events appear to be right to me. I'm going to wait to 2016, and then 2015 turns out to be the threat. You see what I mean? Then you're in trouble. So threat assessment means for the military, if it has 10% probability, you prepare for it. 10%. And the data from the modeling says that the black star is going to be in this position. It's coming. It's already come through Leo. It's already come through Virgo. It's already come through Libra. It started off on the right side of Cancer, way over that way. Now we have it coming by that elliptical curve I just showed you like this. And it's going to cross this point whenever Earth is in this position between the Sun and the left side of Libra. That's what the seismic data is saying, the magnetic pole migration data is saying. This is what it looks like. By looking at the solar flare activity from the last 2 years, you have those 3 big flares that took place in April and May. Okay? It's saying that the black star is already here and that it's going to be here. And you're thinking, well, why aren't the Earth changes being more severe? This thing is coming like a thief in the night. The Earth has expanded and contracted through 2 uptick periods and 2 lull periods for years now. So it's like that balloon that's blowing up and then shrinking and then blowing up and then shrinking. It gets easier to blow up each time. So the Earth is maintaining equilibrium much more easily, right? Even though the black star is getting closer and closer and closer. This is the insidious way that the black star is coming nearer, because we're orbiting around the Sun. We're having near proximity and then far, and then near proximity and far. It allows the Earth to maintain that equilibrium to lull us to sleep. That's what's happening. Even though there's a clear seismic pattern here, the pressures are building up along the western coast of the United States. Even those living on the west coast of the United States, right in the eye of the storm, are being desensitized. The frogs sitting in warming water that's getting ready to boil and explode. But this is the spiritual nature of what's happening, because this is mentioned in Scripture. Suddenly destruction comes upon them like the birth pangs upon a woman with child. I see the birth pangs, but those inside that are sleeping, they can't see a darn thing. Right? So let me get back to your question, because this is just really getting to the first part. Okay, and if so, will the black star be even in the galactic plane or below it? The nature of binaries are to be on the same plane, the same as the equatorial plane, the ecliptic plane of our Sun. So that is a 60-degree differential from the galactic plane. We're turned over on our side 60 degrees. That's how we can use the magnetopause reversal information and when the tail pointed at the Sun, we know that the influence was also the influence. Whatever star it is, it has a planetary relationship with Earth. This is not a galactic thing. Okay. Please consider a model that will show your estimates on the path and timeline together in a visual reference. That's what I just did with this video. So you can wrap your head around it. So you moving a singular cursor in the solar system program you have. This is the best. You want 3D modeling? This is the best 3D model. Right here. The objects are a little too big, but I'm just showing you the general locations. Where the black star came from, where it's going to cross Earth orbit path, where it's going to reach perihelion, and then where it's going to leave again, crossing Earth orbit path on the way out. That line right across there gives us these 2 lines. The center of the orbit gives us the perihelion. If you turn this around and go backwards, then you're going to see that the black star originated somewhere over in this area. Okay, let me see if I can get to the final part of your question here. And maybe draw something and paste it in your newsletter showing a 3D reference to position for the inbound and outbound scenarios. That's what I just did. Okay. Now, maybe in the future, caught me right in the middle of trying to get all my email stuff straight, and you can write me back and let me know if this is what you're looking for, or if you need me to do something more, so that you can visualize this 3-dimensionally. I know it'll help the ladies. They have difficulty visualizing 3-dimensionally outside themselves. And if that's what we need, then that's what I'll do. See you next time.